It all started with a kick in the butt, and then I started moving my butt, and then I decided to accept my butt, and then I stopped talking bad about my butt. Hey y'all, it's me, Brenna Huckabee, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This week it was really hard to figure out what I wanted to talk about because I have so many ideas but nothing really felt right. I had been getting a lot of questions on how I gained confidence after amputation, and for some reason tonight felt like the night to talk about it because as my body has been changing and evolving through pregnancy, a lot of those feelings have come back and they're raw, they're open, and they're vulnerable. So now's the best time, I guess, to relive it and to share with you guys that self-love journey. Okay, y'all, before I get started though, subscribe to my channel. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it till the end because you can't tell me if you like the video till the end. I lost my leg through cancer, and I will put the video here somewhere. And I was 14. And when you're 14, you're in high school. Everything is about how you look. Everything is about who you know and what you're wearing. And at the time, I had lost everything. I had lost my leg, I had lost my hair, I had lost my friends, I had lost my identity through gymnastics, which was the sport that I did from the time school let out until it was time to go to bed at night. It was all I knew as a person, and when cancer took all of that away, it took every self-worth that I had ever built into myself away with it. And so I just want to say this is a journey. I've been an amputee for 9 years. So this self-love journey has gone on for 9 years. And I'm finally at a point that for the most part, my body does not fully affect me and how it looks, but there are moments where, you hear the stray comment and you go down the rabbit hole of insecurity. So while you may make a lot of progress, it is completely normal to feel those insecurities sometimes, but it's how we react to them and how we move forward that continues to strengthen us and build us. I guess I wanted to start off with how I even began to love myself, because after I lost my leg, I really went into like this self-hatred, disgust, pool or hole, but it didn't really start until after I had finished treatment. And I believe this is because the reality had sank in that the life that I was fighting for from cancer didn't exist anymore. And so I was living in this funk, in this hole, in this depression of, I just fought for my life, yet here I am trying to live it, but I can't do gymnastics. Not in the same way that I did before. I don't have friends. Not the same friends that I had before. I don't have hair. I'm in high school. I don't have boys after me. That's what I wanted whenever I started high school. And here I am feeling like garbage. And I had just fought for my life, and you would think you would feel like heroic and victorious, but that wasn't my experience. And so what really kick-started and whipped me into shape was my family. So I have 2 older brothers and a mom and dad, and while I was in this self-hatred funk, I did not leave the couch. I used a jazzy wheelchair instead of my prosthetic because it was easier and I wasn't reminded of the difficulties that were lying ahead, because every time I put my prosthetic on, I fell. It was hard. I was sweating. And for those who don't know, even after you finish chemotherapy, you're still exhausted. I was exhausted from chemo for about a year after. And so just wearing my prosthetic was exhausting and excruciating, and I hated it. But my family was like, all right, Brenna, enough's enough. You've had your time to let it sink and feel, but we need to move forward. We need to stop letting cancer win. Because the more that you sit in this hole, the more you're letting cancer win. You may have beat cancer, but cancer is still winning in your life because it's still taking over and it's still not letting you move forward. I had people kicking me in the butt, giving me that push to move on with my life. And so if you're kind of in that beginning of the self-love journey, you don't really feel it, maybe you don't feel worthy of it, maybe you're maybe you're scared. You're scared to feel confident because of what somebody could say. It might knock you down that much more. But I'm here to kick you in the butt and say, go for it. It's time. It's time to stop letting those insecurities win in your life. It's time to move forward and see how successful you could be when you're not being controlled by the things that make you feel gross. So I am here telling you to break those chains and start this journey. And it's not going to happen overnight, but that first step is the most important, and that first step is the hardest. So here I am helping you and pushing you to take that first step. And so what I did with this kick in the butt is I went back to what gave me joy before. I tried gymnastics, but it just was not the same. But I knew moving my body was. So I convinced my parents to help me join a gym. And every day after school, I would go to the gym and just move my body and see and lift it and just see what I was capable of after my amputation, because that was one of the biggest things at that moment, was just not being able to do anything. I felt like not only did I look disgusting, I couldn't even help myself with a plate. I couldn't do what I loved to do. And at the time, that was way more important than how I looked. And so I started in the gym. I started to move my body. I went to an all-female gym, mind you, because the thought of being in a gym with the opposite sex was terrifying because of how disgusting I felt. So I did end up joining an all-female gym, which I thought helped a lot. And I just started to really gain confidence in my body, in what it could do, not quite how it looked. So as I started to just get this little spark in there going on what I was capable of, I started to put that confidence in yeah, I can lift weights and spin on a bike. I started to find ways that I could translate it into I look good spinning on a bike, lifting my weights. So what I did was I would get outfits that I would wear before, but not necessarily wear now, because I was in such a place that I didn't want to wear anything besides shorts and a t-shirt. I did not feel beautiful enough. I did not feel good enough. That was all I wore. And so what I did was I wore outfits that I wore previously, and I just wore them in my house. I looked in the mirror, you do your cute little poses, and I would just do that. I never wore them out because I was not in a place to wear them in public. But just wearing them in my house and seeing myself in a new light, even though it was alone, was so helpful for me. And I still kind of do that to this day. I do a subscription where I rent clothes and I try them on, and I kind of feel good in them, but half the time I don't post it, half the time I don't take a picture because I'm still a little self-conscious on feeling good. But you know what? We're all somewhere in a journey. Nobody's got it all together. I don't think everyone's got it all together all the time. So I started doing that. And then I remembered how much I loved just dancing. How much I missed just dancing around my house. I would play music and dance, and I got an Xbox Connect because I don't know, I'm not the best dancer. I'm sure y'all seen some videos, but you know what? I feel myself and I go for it, and that's what matters. So I started with the Connect to kind of just help me out a little bit. And I, during this time, actually learned how to walk backwards, which I thought was interesting because that was something I never thought I would do again, walk backwards. And dancing helps me do that. And when you learn a little new skill, even though it's walking backwards, it kind of builds you up. So I guess with that, I would say, find little things that you're doing in your life that was a small win, that was a success, and freaking pat yourself on the back for it, and add that to your bank of wins, add that to your bank of confidences, because those banks, those little coins in your bank, those wins, they build up into who you are and that confidence that you have, because you're remembering who you are and your worth and what you can do and what you're capable of. And you don't have to prove that to anybody else, because you know it's in here. And that's what confidence is what you've got in here. Yes. So from there and counting my small wins, this led me to having just enough courage to talk to people, and I started making friends and I started connecting. And it was hard because I never really found my people until a little later, but at least I was really connecting and not so isolated. And I learned that not everyone hated me, not everyone felt that way about me. Sure, I had to like weed through some people, but overall, like, that feeling of inadequacy and that feeling of isolation and loneliness, it doesn't have to, not everyone is projecting that on you. And so finding those people that are good and do care and want to have fun with you, that helps so much. And even if they're friends for that journey in your life, which a lot of these people were, I am not necessarily friends with them to this day, but they have a place in my heart because during that time when I needed it the most, they were there. And I encourage you to find your people, find your community, because it is so helpful. Once I found snowboarding, it's put a whole new level on what my body can do and what I was capable of, and I started chasing a dream and chasing a goal. And so that confidence alone, like, just spiked me. I was living it. I was living in Utah. I was like, things are happening, things are changing. Like, yes, queen, you got this. But I still wasn't fully there. I started wearing cuter clothes at this point out in public. I felt like I had a fresh start, and I looked at life as a fresh start at this point. And this was 2013. And so I lost my leg in 2010. So it's been about 3 years of this journey to get to the point where I'm like, yes, queen, you've got a goal, you're reaching it, and you look cute in your little dress, okay? But I did wear a prosthetic leg cover because I still had this shame attached to it, and I wanted to feel normal. Like, I wanted to be treated normal. And I figured a prosthetic leg cover, the foam ones with the skin, would give that to me. And through my junior year of high school, I wore it, and then halfway through my senior year, I had gone on dates with boys, believe it or not. And that's going to be a whole topic on another day. And I started to feel good. I started to feel like myself. And one of the comments that I got from one of my persons I like saw's mom was like, it's so good for you to be out and doing this. And this was before a dance. And I'm like, out and what? Going to a dance like everyone else? And so that really struck me because I started to see a different, like, dimension of how people could see me. Like, the fact that I'm going to a dance and living a normal life was such a big taboo thing. And it really pissed me off. And when I got pissed, I started to see myself actually in an even bigger light. And I was like, you know what? This prosthetic leg cover isn't fooling anyone. I like radically accepted myself at that point because I was like, you know what? I have one leg. This cover does not take that away. This cover does not make people see me any differently. This cover does not make people treat me any differently. So I took it off. And it was because, like, first of all, that cover was like an extra 2 pounds, which is like heavy as an AK. So I was like, you know what? No. I'm not fooling anyone. I have a prosthetic leg. Look at it, love it, or don't. I don't care because I'm here to shine and to wear my leg and go to a dance like a normal person because I have every right to. Just because I have one leg should not change that. So at that point, when I started to just like accept it, I stopped doing things in fear somebody might notice. I just said, you know what? Here I am, world. This is me. Take it or leave it. But I've worked hard to live this life. I've worked hard to get to a place where I'm happy and worthy. And I'm not going to hide behind a leg cover. I'm not going to shame myself and feel the shame that adults are putting on me. And so just accept your body, man. Our bodies are so cool. They can overcome so much. They're way beyond. We do not give our bodies enough credit. So, massive spike to my ego when I decided to just radically accept myself, accept what my body looked like, the changes that it was going to have. Because like it's inevitable. You're gonna gain weight. You're gonna lose weight. You could lose a leg. You could not lose a leg. I don't know. You're gonna be a professional athlete, and then one day you're gonna retire, and your body is going to change, and things are going to happen, but your identity and who you are and your worth is not wrapped up in that. It is who you are and who you've built on this inside. And going, you know what, world? This is me as I am. Take me or leave me. There is no greater confidence than that. There is no greater confidence in radically accepting who you are. The second thing that major spiked my self-love was when I had my daughter. So I got pregnant at 19. I had her at 20. I was poor AF, trying to figure out snowboarding still. I hadn't like made it by any means. I just got on the US snowboard team, and luckily they didn't drop me, which is crazy. And just like halfway teenager to not teenager, trying to figure out life. And I still had moments of negative self-talk because you've done it your whole life, or at least I've done it my whole life. And so I never even realized it was a problem. But then after I had my daughter, I realized, looking back, like everything that my mom said about herself, I kind of internalized about myself, because people would be like, you and your mom look so much alike. Well, it's like, well, if me and my mom look so much alike and she's saying these things about herself, which she never said about me, but just through that little bit of conversation I felt all of her insecurities plus my own. And I realized I don't want Lila to deal with that. I don't want my daughter to ever have to deal with that. And I made it a point at that moment, anytime that I had a negative self-thought, I would replace it with a positive and say it out loud. Because it is way more important for you to say good things about yourself, good things about your body, than it is to say anything negative, because of the people that are around you watching and listening. Because you say, oh, my thighs are so fat. Okay? I hate them. They're disgusting. They're so fat. If you say something like that. But then you're next to somebody who may not even thought of that as an insecurity of theirs. Now they feel that as well. Especially if it's somebody that's close to you and younger than you, like a niece, even a nephew. Sons and daughters, we all have insecurities, boys and girls. And just saying that in front of little ears that are impressionable, stop. Replace it with a positive. These legs are strong, they hold me up. There's a lot. And I've been really good with this, but as my body has changed with pregnancy and I feel worthless because I'm not doing anything. Today was the first time in 2 weeks that I got up and cleaned my house, because I actually could be mobile. So for 2 weeks I felt like absolute garbage because I couldn't do anything. And so I've noticed that during that time I've started to talk negatively about myself. Like, oh my gosh, I'm massive. I'm never going to lose this weight. I hate what I look at when I look in the mirror. And it's like, no. Your body is growing a child. Your body has a lot of stress on it, so it's tired, so you need to rest it. You are beautiful. You are going through a miracle that you didn't think you can have, and so many women are not as fortunate to have. Embrace it. Embrace the change. It's gonna be okay, because you know what? After you have this baby, these chunky arms are gonna be holding it right up and loving it, okay? And all this body fat that you're so angry about, it's gonna be fuel to feed your baby through your breastises. So, take that negative, spin it to a positive for you and all those watching. So those were the major turning points. It all started with a kick in the butt, and then I started moving my butt, and then I decided to accept my butt, and then I stopped talking bad about my butt. So hope that, I don't know, just gives you a little hope, gives you a little courage to start this journey. It is scary, like I said in the beginning, because when you feel good about yourself, especially at the beginning when you're building, it almost feels like it hurts that much more when someone knocks you down, because you've invested so much love into who you've become. You've invested so much time, and you've done a lot. Like, you've done good. You've grown, but then somebody comes by and is like, oh, you stank. And you're like, no, I don't. But resiliency, coming back after that, that is what builds you. That is what grows that confidence. That is what enables that self-love. That is what gives you the courage, the purpose, and the confidence to post a picture of you looking fly AF on social media and not even caring what the trolls say because you know who you are on the inside. That's all I'm saying. That's it. We're ending it there. If you liked this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. And yeah, enjoy.